Hello, my name is Sam Johnson, and I am a voice teacher. Today, I will be reacting to and analyzing Alexander Rybak performing Fairytale in the 2009 Eurovision Song Contest. He's Norwegian. My grandma was Norwegian. I make lefse, so I have opinions about this and also biases. Lindsey Sterling's influence is unmatched.
Years ago, when I was younger, I kinda liked a girl I knew. She was mine, and we were sweethearts. That was then, but then it's true.
Good. I like how spoken the quality of his voice is. We're only going up to a middle C so far. I think that how he did some of the vowels made it sound a little bit higher than it actually is. There is so much in perception of a sound, so much is wrapped up between tone and pitch. They're inseparable, and if you have a tone quality that sounds a certain way, it'll make anything that you sing sound higher or sound lower or something. It's not inherently a bad thing for that to happen. It's just what it is. However, watching with him so far, some making a middle C sound like a high note for most people is a red flag. That's something that I start looking out for pretty early when working with most lower voice people. He's a professional, so I'm going to give him a little bit more benefit of the doubt that it's just a choice that he's doing and it's a fun choice and maybe he likes that sound, and we'll continue to see how if that flag that first pops out is validated at all.
I'm in love with a fairy tale, even though it hurts. 'Cause I don't care if I lose my mind, I'm already cursed.
Okay, I'm going to say that I was partially validated. There was that time that he went up the first time that there was that little I don't know if we want to call it a voice crack. There was a little event that sounded unintentional to me, and it was because of the approach that he's using to sing those notes, to sing those G's. I think most of it's really good. Honestly, even within that approach, I think that it's a beautiful sound. That's some of the sound quality that I aim for a lot in my voice, that I just kind of gravitate toward. But when he went to the and more of an to me, that was a more like the approach that I like to teach people. I just think it's a better way of singing. I think it sounds better most of the time. I think it's easier to sing versus the I'm in love, I'm in love. More of that kind of quality. I know it totally changes the sound quality, and with what I just did, it kind of was an over-exaggeration, but playing within that spectrum, you can find a moment where it doesn't feel quite as yelly, and it doesn't feel and sound too classical. I like his energy. I like the guys doing push-ups. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Every day we started fighting.
So same thing there. That's the C again. I started fighting. That extra already is setting you up so that those higher notes are going to be a little bit harder. It sounds like what it is. Again, this is not a judgment of the sound. It is just saying, if you're struggling with the next higher note, look at the stuff that happens right before. We started fighting, closer to the fa, versus we started fight. It sounds way brighter than some of the other parts of the phrase. So just musically, to me, it pops out. Sometimes when things pop out like that, it's good and it's interesting, and other times it's less good and less interesting. With him, I think that it kind of fits the whole this is spoken kind of untrained sound quality while still being on pitches, still being overall musical. I think it's working for him.
No one else could lift me high above. I don't know what I was doing when suddenly we fell apart. Nowadays I cannot find her, but when I do, we'll get a brand new start. I'm in love with a fairy tale.
So yeah, again, he has a pretty consistent tone quality. There was a little bit of pitch inconsistency at the top, again, just because this is a more volatile way of performing, a more volatile way of forming your vowels. So top notes sometimes are going to have a little bit more of that variability in terms of like pitch accuracy. He is so good that he's like getting close enough most of the time that I don't think it matters. I know this is coming off as very critical, but I think that it's a really good example of how you can sing in a way that might not be the most efficient, and you can, as long as you are still really familiar with your instrument, you can get through it and you can make some really cool sounds. Because like, I think it's really fun. I love his energy. I think the performance is really hot. Like, it's great.
'Cause I don't care if I lose my mind.
Look at how low his tongue is right there. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. If I'm trying to pull up that kind of place, it just stops working at about the G. Like, I can kind of get through it, but it's hard and it doesn't feel very good. Versus if I have a slightly different mouth shape, it's a much easier transition. We hear it as like this yellier sound quality, which is very open, and I think it's really quite lovely. But again, if you struggle with it, realize that this is a difficult, perilous way of singing. It sounds great, no denying that. But try some other stuff out and see if you can get your voice feeling really great. And then a lot of times after you figured out how to do it in that slightly more efficient way, with the kind of like higher tongue, less open, maybe a little less volume, it becomes easier to start doing stuff like this. It does become a lot easier to kind of, from that good starting place that feels comfortable, I can sing here all day, start making these little changes to get the sound quality that you're looking for.
She's a fairy tale, yeah.
So we heard a little instability on the fair re leading up to it. E is a really difficult vowel to approach in this way. Fairy! See, there's that little bit of shakiness. I'm not an exact replica of him. I'm a different person, but this is as close to the approach as I can kind of demonstrate. Versus if I have more of that forward tongue, like ringy or mixy or E. Fairy! That quality is way more stable for my voice and for most voices.
Even though it hurts, 'cause I don't care if I lose my mind, I'm already cursed.
He's killer. Like, really great energy, good performer. He's very musical. Obviously, it's really fun to see people be able to play instruments, especially like less traditional rock instruments, and go back and forth between that and performing, or that and singing. I think that's really cool. I thought the backup dancers were doing some really cool things. I can do those things too, obviously. I'm a trained professional. I just choose not to. My main trepidations are just people trying to sound like him at the top of their range. It's hard. It's really hard to approach in that way. Like, there's some parts of it that you just need to be physically gifted to be able to line things up in the way that it works like that, versus a way that like maybe you don't have all of these wonderful inherent qualities that like let you just get up into that place. And so we need to kind of approach it in a way that might be more successful for most people. However, that's not devaluing what he's doing, because what he's doing is hard, and it's proof that he knows his instrument really freaking well. Like really, 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 really well. There are some times that, like, obviously it went a little bit sharp, a little bit flat, or there was a little instability at certain parts, but he was able to stay focused on what's going to happen next and not let those moments derail him. And I think that because of that, those moments for the average listener add to it. For people like me, it's like when I'm in this chair putting this on, I get really hypercritical about those things, because when I'm doing these reactions, I'm pretending, what if this person was in front of me right now? Yes, they are professional. They're here for a reason. They're paying me for this. I also, like, am a quite good singer, and I still pay people to give me feedback on my voice. It's just a thing that people do sometimes, and it doesn't matter how good you are. We still need to kind of have the ability to give notes to those people. And with him, like, yeah, those are the things that kind of stood out. So I would choose to try to get him into those other mixier kind of ways of singing, which for him I don't think would be that hard, because like the energy he's giving would remain about the same. It's just a few little vowel shifts, and because he's obviously so familiar with his instrument, I think that he would be able to make some of those vowel shifts well. And then at the end, just go back and forth, kind of listen back and forth to the different qualities that you get both ways, and talk about it. And then let him decide. He probably has done some of that work. I mean, my guess is he hasn't done a lot of that work. There's just enough stuff that sounds slightly inconsistent, to the point that, like, I think that he has mostly committed to this approach, and he's really good at it and has gotten really good with it. But it's riskier to sing this way. It's harder to get through 8 shows a week, 150 shows a year, whatever. Like, it's just harder to sing for more than a song like this. But yeah, he's awesome. Go Norway! Go Norway! Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Tell me your favorite recipe for a flatbread. And if you're interested in signing up for a voice lesson, go to my website, vocalease.net. Thank you.